Roll. Let's roll. Let's roll with it.
It's never too early for the
ACPX.
X. Never too early for the X.
X. This is what? Tuesday morning. You know, we got a lot of stuff popping up. Hilarious stuff. The fallout from Tank versus Ryan. And of course, there was going to be fallout, right? We don't know the
Oh
numbers
man.
yet. We'll get the numbers eventually, all that good stuff, blah, 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 blah. But
We're gonna get it
the
all.
chaos around Ryan Garcia's camp is hilarious. The face of boxing talk is hilarious. Can you be the face of boxing without being the face of boxing? It's 2023. Like you can just identify as being whatever you want. So I guess
Right.
if Tank wants to be the face of boxing, oh, he's cute, cuddly face of boxing. Yeah, he says the face of boxing. He identifies as the face of boxing. Give it to
But
him.
he is. He's the face. He's the face of boxing. Like, okay.
There's no objective metrics anymore. It's just yeah, he's the face of boxing, and I'll just for fun, like I'll just look at the comment section, and of course I'm not gonna put a comment because I'm not doing that. I'm not getting wrapped up in that. But I'll see these comments, and yeah, he's the face of boxing because blah 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 blah, and Canelo's not fighting Benavidez, so he can't be the face of boxing. There's like objective metrics that you need to go off of to say who's the face of boxing, and it needs to be sustainable. And we just don't go off of that anymore. It's just narrative. It's just whatever the narrative is. And I just want to be
Well,
I
you
want to
have
make
to
it
be.
clear.
You
I
have to
want to
be
make
American. You got to be American to be the face.
right.
You got to be American.
I want to make this clear at the top is this isn't one of those channels, and this isn't me bragging or anything, but the other day I caught flack from some of the Tank Davis like super haters for you being too nice to Tank. You're giving him too much credit. You and D Style just giving him too much credit for the performance, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got news for the new subscribers who subscribed to me for all the Tank love the past couple of days. This one's probably going to trigger you. This one's probably going to make you unsubscribe because this is where we're at with Tank, right? It's like this is what we've been saying. As you watch him fight and he passed the eye test with flying colors, right?
It shouldn't though, right? Like it
right.
shouldn't trigger them.
It shouldn't.
Like, don't you want the objective truth? Or do you want to be told pretty little lies?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you just want the fucking truth? That's a decision people need to start making. Because if you're following HCP in any way, shape, or form, because you want to be told pretty little lies, you want to be told a comforting lie, if that's what you're following it for, it's the wrong place to follow. There are plenty of other places you go where they're going to tell you that pretty little lie. Mm-hmm. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear to make you feel good, so you could, cuddle next to your little pillow and then sleep good at night. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear. Right here, we're going to drop you some objective truth, right? And I would ask anyone to argue it with merit. Come at me with merits. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me start off with this. Let's talk about this face of boxing, Calix. Mm-hmm. Let's dive in from the very top of the diving boards, right? Let's go all the way to the top, the very top one, right? And let's dive in because we can do a lot of flips and turns and twists and everything on the way down to the water. Now, in the movie Spider-Man, his uncle tells him, Peter, with great power comes great responsibility. You want Tank to be the face of boxing? Be careful what you wish for. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. Let's say I applaud. Let's say I say, okay, fine, he's the face of boxing. What now? Okay, what you see, the thing is that they're expecting pushback. That's why they keep insisting and saying it, because the pushback is creating this argument of no, it's not, it's Canelo, no, it's Tank, and they use Canelo. It's an indirect way of using Canelo's name for clout, is what it is. Okay, that's what it is. But you know what? Okay, fine. He's the face of boxing. Tank is the face of boxing. Cool. You represent boxing. You got no world title. Like that whole shit about you got no job, you got no world title. Okay, you beaten no world champion. Has Tank ever beaten a reigning world champion in his career? No. Pedraza, that's about it. We got to go back 6 years. I'm tired of going back so many years, but now he's got Ryan. Fine. We gave him credit for the Ryan win. I did. Mm-hmm. There's some
We did.
asterisks on the way, but I'm not the one that make these. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The asterisks are what they are. Don't ask for rehydration clauses and catch weights if you don't want that being thrown in your face after a win. Just don't do it, right? Because you're the face now. You're the face of boxing. What you do now, everyone's going to start following.
Mm-hmm.
You're the face of boxing now, so I'm expecting fully of you. I'm expecting all the fans to demand of you everything they demand of Canelo. Everything, all of it. If Devin Haney wins and he's like, well, I'm not going to go to the zone. I don't want. I'm sorry. I don't want to go to PBC. I don't want to hear anybody criticize Devin Haney at all. And you need to demand that the face of boxing go over to ESPN Plus and make that fucking fight happen, or else he's ducking the smoke with Devin Haney. I want you to apply the same standard. I want you to have the same expectation, objectively speaking. Oh, but he's not a free agent. He should be. He's the face of boxing. The face of boxing isn't withholden by any one entity. You're the face, so you better be willing to go anywhere, anytime, and because hey, you're supposed to be flexible like that when you're the face of boxing. I want to see if Lomachenko wins and Bob Arum's like, bah humbug. I will not send him over there.
Which he will watch. But
you're the face of boxing. If you should be willing to go over there because you're the face. That's what you should be willing to do, Tank. All right. And if for whatever reason you don't want to go over there, fine. But Loma is asking for $4 million. I don't want to hear that's too much money. I don't know, because you know that there's a cap, Calix. The face of boxing pays $10 million and up. All right, so he paid like $6.5 million or whatever to Bivol. If you can't, like, you're telling me Lomachenko not more known than Bivol? We're talking $10 million range.
Mm-hmm.
The face of boxing pays $10 million and up. If that's what you got to pay, there's a price that comes with being the face of boxing. There's a price that comes with that. Yep. The face of boxing pays $10 million and up. You're more popular than Canelo. You're more well known than Canelo, right? You're in bigger fights than Canelo. You generate more money than Canelo, right? So there's no reason you should be making less than Canelo, and your opponent should be making less than Canelo. Leonard Allerby last year was asked about, well, why do you guys make an offer to Devin Haney? Oh, Devin Haney's too expensive. I mean, what they paid him in the zone was way too much. I mean, they lost money with him. We're not in the business of losing money. Well, you can't pay Devin Haney $2 million. You can't pay him double that, $4 million, but you're the face of boxing, right? You are the face. There is a responsibility that comes with being the face of boxing, right? Don't have your cake and eat it too, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what they want.
If that's what you want, then you're going to have those expectations for Devin Haney. I'm just saying, I can't get a mortgage, right? Like, I'm the boss. I deserve a bigger house. And then I buy a bigger house. Guess what? I gotta pay that mortgage. Mm-hmm. Guess what? I gotta pay those electric bills. Guess what? I gotta pay those taxes. There is a tax that comes with being the face of boxing. There is a tax. There's a mortgage payment that comes with your opponents when you're the face of boxing. That's what comes with it at the end of the day. So, hey, I'm all good with Calix. If it gets as Lomachenko versus Tank and Haney versus Tank and all that, and Tank becomes a free agent, or even if he doesn't, but Lomachenko's making $10 million paydays, or Haney is, I'm all for it if that's the case. Shit, I'm all in.
Mm-hmm. This is it's frustrating for me navigating the Tank Davis thing, because, like I said the other day, is I'll praise him and I'll get pushback from the other side saying you're praising him too much, but the eye test does say he's a great fighter, right? But it's frustrating for me because I want to jump all in on the Tank Davis train, but the issue with that is I know what's coming because I've seen the track record before this. And the frustrating part is not even, as I've been saying the past year, it's not the power brokers that I'm frustrated with. It's not Tank Davis being agnostic about where he goes with his career that I'm frustrated with. It's the boxing fans that step in my way when I complain about it. That's what's frustrating to me is I'll say this stuff and then I'll have fans jump in my way and say, you're demanding too much. You're demanding way too much. And you're looking for objective metrics when we're talking about who the face of boxing is. And that's just not right. You're just a Canelo stan. No, dude, there are objective metrics to say who is the face of boxing. And you don't jump someone who's been doing this for a decade by doing it one time. We need sustainable performance and such as that. We need top fighters consistently that you're fighting top competition. And on top of that, you also need to bring in pay-per-view buys every time. You also need to bring in the live gate every time. $23 million live gates, $1 million pay-per-views, 1 million pay-per-view buys. But this is my big thing. This is the frustrating part. I don't even worry about the buys. I think that will come if he just behaves like a guy who cares about where his legacy goes. That will all come with the package because he has that package as a talented fighter. Whether he wins or loses, it will all come in time if he just behaves like a fighter. This is the problem I have. When we talk about where does Tank Davis go from here, D-Style, I'm being told, oh, we're going to do a Raleigh rematch at 140 if he gets a title, or Isaac Cruz at 135. And the same people who are telling me he's the face of boxing are okay with that. No, I'm not okay with that. If he's the face of boxing, like you said, fine. If he wants to identify as the face of boxing, because like I said, 2023, you can identify as whatever you want. Fine, let him have it. Let him have it. Face of boxing, whatever. As long as he gives me the fights, I'll call him whatever he wants me to call. Whatever. All right. But this is the issue is they push these narratives. It goes back to false packaging. The older I get, the more frustrated I get when people lie to me. It comes with age, right? I don't have as much patience. So I had an issue a decade ago when they were promoting Adrian Broner as this top pound for pound fighter and all this stuff, and it just wasn't there. It never was there. They've been promoting Tank as a 3-division champ, and you just say, no, he's not a 3-division. You can't just do that. But then they just do it, and then people start to buy it. Now, it was clear the directive. It was clear that they told Al Bernstein, Steve Harhood, all of these guys, Brian Custer, say face of Jim Gray, face of boxing, face of boxing, face of boxing, face of boxing. Just barrage people with face of boxing, right? Face of boxing, face of boxing. And then they're trying to speak it into existence, which once again, fine. But here's what needs to happen going forward. You need to fight for real championships. You need to fight for real belts. There is no Isaac Cruz rematch. There is no Raleigh Romero. No. I don't want to see fans step in my way and say, no, but you don't understand. Top Rank is over here, and then we're over. No. Let them tell me that. I'm going to demand the fights that need to happen as a boxing fan. I want them to tell me. These fights can't be made because of politics and network issues. And then try to explain to me why that's the case when he's the face of boxing, because the face of boxing can move mountains. The face of boxing can do whatever he wants and demand whatever he wants. Anthony Joshua wants to fight somebody across the street. Guess what? The fight's being made. Canelo Alvarez wants to fight a guy, PBC, undisputed. Go over to Showtime, and they demand he goes over to Showtime for it to happen. Well, guess what? Tank Davis, same requirements. You want to become undisputed, you go over there to ESPN, like Canelo did, Showtime, and go get those belts. Or demand that Devin Haney comes over for one fight to Showtime. I don't even care how it's done, but demand the damn fight. You're the face of boxing. Fight for the belts. Fight for all the belts. If it's Lomachenko, so be it. If it's Haney, so be it. All right?
Fight for all the belts.
Stevenson, call out the top fighters. You're the face of boxing.
Yeah, look, the thing is, and look, before people start typing away at the comment section or losing their shit, keep in mind, right? Part of it is serious, but part of it is sarcasm, guys. I can't speak for Calix, but I know Tank isn't going to go to ESPN and fight. Like, we know this. We know this. We're signaling to you the things Calix and I have been knowing anyway. Is look at how considerate Canelo's been as the quote-unquote face of boxing. moving mountains to make fight happens, giving in to demands of PBC when he literally didn't have to. When he had 3 of the 4 belts, he was the biggest draw. He was the name. He was everything. Yet, because he wanted to make an undisputed fight, he went to another net. That is unheard of. And we live in a world, right? We live in a world of ungrateful fans, ungrateful people that are not appreciative of what Canelo does. Instead, he gets called a diva. Instead, he gets called, Canelo's unreasonable. Oh, Canelo, he's such a terrible thing for the sport. Canelo, he's not fighting who I want him to fight, Benavidez. So therefore, I'm going to shit on his whole run and just say he's a piece of shit. And then when guys like me, all right, or Calix or anybody start to just objectively tell people the truth. Like, don't you see what this guy's doing? Oh, you're a fanboy. Why are you emotional about Canelo? And why are you this? You know what? And that's why I get mad and I tell people, fuck you. That's why I do it, because you're in the wrong and you're not thinking clearly, right? And a lot of these same people are now saying things like Tank is the face of boxing, all right? Fine. Like, be careful what you wish for. The face of boxing to me is a status. It doesn't necessarily, it's like, it's neutral. It doesn't make it a good thing or a bad thing. It just is what it is, but it's a status that comes with the following. Heaviest is the head that wears the crown. Okay? So, Tank Davis, you want to call him the face of boxing, right? So, a face of boxing isn't a prospect, right? We're not going to treat him like a prospect, right, guys? We're not going to move him almost 30 years of age like some prospect. We also know, I acknowledge that he's extremely talented and should be fighting the best and could beat the best. So I wanted to fight the best. That's what I want, right? Even without him being the face. But if he's the face, now it's no longer a preference thing. Now it's a you must do it thing. All right? You must do it. Raleigh, who you already beat in a rematch, is unacceptable.
Yep.
Isaac Cruz, okay, but I can name you like 5 or 6 options better for Tank than Isaac Cruz right now.
Isaac Cruz, decent fight, but it's not a great fight. It's not a great match.
But you could do it as in between another big fight, maybe. All right. I want to see a fight Devin Haney is what I want to see. Shakur.
There is no other acceptable option, a more acceptable option to me than fighting for undisputed at this point. And this is the part I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand. And I had people try to explain this to me. And like I said, they'll hop in the way. They'll just hop in the way and start explaining it for the people that I'm asking. Okay, so Tank Davis is clearly number 3 in the division now, and he's the face of boxing. Fight number 1. 1 and 2 is about to face each other. Fight number 1. It's that simple. There is no other fight we should be calling for as boxing fans. There isn't. You look like that dude. You're the face of boxing. You pass the eye test. You put on a performance of Ryan Garcia where we say, I could possibly see him beating anybody in the division. So why not do it? And then people start to throw out names like Raleigh Romero rematch, Isaac Cruz rematch. And I'm confused. I'm sitting over here confused because why are we calling for any other fight than the winner of Undisputed on May 20th? Why? The only other acceptable option you can throw out there is Shakur Stevenson. All right. And once again, if you're the face of boxing, cross-promotional fights shouldn't get in the way. They shouldn't get in the way. I mean,
no, you're right. I mean,
you're able to do anything you want as the face.
I mean, there's a responsive, like, look, you guys could have as many faces of boxing as you want. I don't give a shit. I've never cared about all that crap. Okay, like if you want to call him the face, okay, cool. But there's a responsibility that comes with being the face. Like there could be more than one, guys. Like let me give you an example. Remember the year '99, which was a huge. People think like when people talk to me like, "Oh, last year was such a big year," and like, no, '99 when you had De La Hoya, Trinidad, and you had I think it was Holyfield, Lewis, and you had all these multiple fights that did great pay per view numbers. Right, it was a great year for boxing. Um, De La Hoya became kind of like a de facto face of boxing. Like that year in a way. He kind of was even before that. Now he never surpassed Tyson, right? But since Tyson lost to Lewis, he's kind of on his way out, and
Mm-hmm.
so you know what I mean. So some people are kind of seeing it that way. Like they think Canelo lost to Bivol, and if he fights Bivol again, he's going to lose. So he's kind of on his way out, and now Tank, he's the one kind of rising. Okay, but look, it's whatever to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that I'll call him the face of boxing for you guys if you want me to. But I have an expectation for a face of boxing.
Yep.
You're no longer going to be treated with kid gloves. You can no longer say things like Devin Haney's too expensive. When have you heard Canelo say, "Oh, that guy's too expensive"? When you're the face of boxing, you pay guys 10 times their biggest previous purse, 5 times, or like Bivol made 5 or 6 times more than he's ever made in his life in any fight when he fought Canelo. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So when Plant fought him 10 times more than he's ever made when he fought Canelo. So I don't want to hear, they're asking for, it's just Devin Haney fights for $2 million a fight. That's too much money. You know what I mean? Well, $3 million. Are you crazy? Like that's too much money. I don't want to hear that no more because you're the face of boxing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Remember when
Right?
Prince Nassim Hamed was going on his run in Europe, and
Yeah.
then he started to say, "I'm that dude. I'm that dude. I'm pound for pound king. Look at the numbers I'm putting up." And then people started to demand and expect different things from him, right? You come over here, you fight Kevin Kelly. Yeah, that's a great win against Kevin Kelly. Great fight. But now we expect you to step up from Kevin Kelly, an older Kevin Kelly, right? And then he steps up and fights Marco Antonio Barrera. And then we find out where Prince Nassim Hamed really was. But even Prince understood that eventually I have to go up and fight that fight, right? Eventually I have to go up and fight that fight. This is the part that they're trying to take away from us at this point when it comes to a Tank Davis is no, he doesn't have to actually fight the Marco Antonio Barreras of the world. He doesn't have to fight these guys. He's fine sort of on going back to this triple A circuit. And this is another thing, D-Style, is you try to tell people this.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable if he goes right back to doing what he was doing. Now that he's fought Ryan Garcia, we're expecting him, the market is expecting him to go on a more sustainable run. The market is expecting him to fight the top fighters out there and sustain this. So if he
gives me the
reverts
fights,
back to where he was, if he reverts right back to Isaac Cruz, Raleigh Romero's, that level of competition, the market's going to sniff it out. It may do okay. It might do him 500,000 buys. Who knows? But it's gonna start to go down. Much like the issue that Jake Paul has, right? Is you can only fool the market for so long. You can only trick it for so long. You can only rob the bank so many times. And if this does, it wouldn't surprise me to see a number like 1.5 million buys, D-Style. It wouldn't. But once again, you got to take that baton and run with it. You got to go. You got to keep that momentum going. So if he starts to listen to these people in his camp, because this is the frustration I have with Tank is I keep saying it. He's agnostic as far as legacy. I don't think he cares who he fights. I don't think Tank's afraid of anybody. But at the same time, they take advantage of that because they know they can put in-house fighters not deserving of fighting him in the ring with him and keep all the money in-house when they should be, and he should, as a fighter, have that competitive spirit and start demanding the title fights, start demanding undisputed. That's what I want to see. That's the 180 I want to see from
So
Tank.
Jesus just said, Jesus sent me in the chat, he put, so the face of boxing has standards. Who make these standards? Well, history, right? The faces of boxing have always been in the biggest fights, fought the best in their divisions.
Yep.
That's what they do.
It's a
If
real thing, by the way. The face of boxing is a real. Everybody knows that it's a real thing.
it's a real thing, it's like this is what the face of boxing is. It's not that complicated. Okay, when someone says boxing to a casual, who's the first like face they see? Who's the
Mhm.
first guy they think about? If that's Tank, okay, cool. I'm just saying that with great power comes great responsibility. Bro, I will call him if he fights the winner of Lomachenko Haney. I'll be on here calling him the face of boxing if they want me to. I'll say it like to the mountaintop. Oh yeah, I'll take he's the face of boxing. You know that, right, Alex? I would
Mhm.
say it to the moon till I'm blue in the face because he's giving me what I want, right? Give me what I want. I'll call you whatever the fuck you want me to call
And
you.
oh, by the
Okay?
way, there will be no bigger fans of Tank than I'll just speak for myself than myself if he goes on
Well,
that
I
run.
agree.
I'm telling
I,
you.
I agree 100%. If he fights Shakur, I'm all in.
Yes,
I'm all in.
win or
But if he
lose.
goes up there and he fights Raleigh, well,
Mm-mm.
if he goes up to 140 and fights Raleigh, first of all, like, but you did a catch weight on Ryan, right? But you're gonna fight Raleigh at 140, a guy you already beat, by the way. We know what's gonna happen. It's gonna knock him out again. Like we already know the outcome. Like you used to call it, hunting deers in cages. Like that's what it is,
Yeah.
right? But when you have Taylor, Teofimo, Ramirez, Cepeda, all these guys are naming all better than Raleigh, all of them, right?
Yeah.
And I would favor Tank in most of those. You have
Frank Martin.
Prograves.
Frank Martin.
I don't want to hear, oh, but nobody knows who Prograves is. Prograves doesn't draw anything. Canelo fights dudes that don't draw shit all the time,
Hmm.
right? Plant wasn't selling out shit. What the fuck did Plant ever sell out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, actually, I think he had one fight in Tennessee where he did okay, actually. But my point is, I don't want to hear, oh, Shakur, he's only big in his hometown. Oh, Devin Haney, just he fights in half-empty arenas, and these are unacceptable excuses for Canelo, even for me. If Canelo came out, I would fight for undisputed, but nobody knows what Plan is, so I'm not gonna do it. I would be like, well, that's a dumb reason.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I don't
So
agree with this that the fans can't control it because I think we can. We've just given up our power because it's not surprising to me at all. Not surprising at all that a
but
network
don't
would
don't lose sight
obviously
though.
when you
Like,
hear when you hear face of boxing that many times from multiple people within the same network organization, you know there were emails going out, there were directives to, for whatever reason, push face of boxing, push it, push it, push it, push it. But it's the boxing fans' job to be intelligent enough to push back on it, right? What
yeah,
we say
but
about
Calix, like,
three
I
division
don't want
champions.
people to. I don't want people to lose sight on what's going on. To me, it's obvious what's going on.
Mhm.
They're calling him the face of boxing because they know it's not true. They know it's Canelo. Okay, this is how you know it's Canelo for everybody. Oh, what do you mean? Like PBC, the network that Tank Davis fights for, right? I guarantee you anything. It's going to offer Canelo more money than they've ever paid Tank or that Tank made in this Ryan Garcia fight. Okay, once he fights a Ryder, once a Ryder fight's over, they're going to offer Canelo more money
Yeah,
than they've ever offered Tank. That's PBC. That's his backyard.
by far.
But
50,
like so that's how
55.
you know. But the reason they're doing it, and it's I don't blame them for doing it. It's smart. They're creating an argument of like, no, it's not. It's Canelo. No, it's Tank. So it
Yeah.
indirectly puts Tank up there with Canelo in terms of market value,
Clout
right?
chasing. It's clout chasing.
It's a cloud chase move. It really is, which is a very overrated term, and it's really used in a negative context. But that's what they're doing, right?
Mhm.
I'm not even against it. If I was in the marketing team, who knows? I'd probably be saying, "Hey,
Smart.
just do it. Just attach your name to them," right? But here's the thing: I don't even want to give. Like, I'm not taking the bait, bro. I don't want to. I'm not going to argue with somebody on who's a bigger name, Canelo or Tank. I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
It's a ridiculous. It's like arguing with a flat earther. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, the Earth is flat. Prove me
Mhm.
wrong, D style. Like, You know what? If you think it's flat, fine. Okay, it looks flat. Cool, whatever. Like, it's whatever to me. But if it's giving me something I want, like let's say I don't know, like they owe me $100, and like, you know what? If you pay me the $100 you owe me, it's flat. Thank you. You know what I mean? Whatever to me.
Mm-hmm.
If Tank gives me what I want, okay, yeah, you're the face of boxing. Okay, cool. It's kind of like, when you tell a little kid, okay, yeah, whatever, like, you know what I mean? I just feel that's what we're doing here. Don't lose sight of what's going on. Don't get caught up in the argument. It's a ridiculous argument. Instead, this is what I recommend. You guys can do what you want as boxing fans. This is what I recommend you do. Say, okay, he's the face of boxing. So now I want him to do face of boxing shit. Right? That's what I want.
Yeah.
You want to be the face of boxing? Okay, cool. Now you get to do face of boxing stuff, right? It's like that 18-year-old that turns 18 and says, I'm the boss. I'm a man, Mom. Give me my respect. Like, she's like, okay, well, either get out of the house or pay the bills, right? Like, there's a responsibility that comes with it, right? Like Tank Davis, like he still wants to live in the PBC basement, right? But he wants to be the face. Like well, that's not how it works, right? like they want to be the face of boxing, but they want to say things like David Haney's too expensive, right? They want to be the face of boxing, but they want to say things like, well, what do they bring to the table, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, what are they going to bring to the table? We got to make fights that if it makes dollars, it makes sense, right? No, the face of boxing is so big that no matter who you fight, is a big fight, right?
You can't keep doing that thing. You got away with it before, but you can't keep doing that thing where you say Josh Taylor doesn't bring anything to the table, like Leonard Ellerbe said after the Barrios fight. Yeah. You can't keep doing that here. You can't.
And I got news for you. Josh Taylor will cross the street, brother. I believe Josh will top air him. Let me fight that dude.
And here's the thing they're missing, D-Style, is if Devin Haney wins this fight, he's a free agent. PBC can offer him whatever they want to come over and fight Tank Davis. And if Tank Davis is the face of boxing, they will be able to easily make that fight.
Easily.
Because they can offer Devin Haney probably whatever Devin Haney wants. They'll have enough money to do that because, look, the heavyweights out there, the Furies, the Usyks, the AJs, the Wilders, they're out in Saudi Arabia. Even Andy Ruiz, butt tattoo Andy Ruiz, he's out in Saudi Arabia, and they're offering these guys $40 million per fight. And look, if you're the face of boxing, you can become a free agent like Canelo, and guys are throwing you $55 million per fight. So I don't want to hear that a guy who's undisputed, who is a free agent, you can't make a fight with. That's not going to work. That's what they're missing. Like, he's a free agent after this fight, D-Style. If he comes out of that with all of the belts and bargaining power, I don't want to hear I can't make a fight with a free agent with all of the belts.
Oh, he's too expensive. He wants $4 million. But who is he to ask for that much amount of money? Well, what the fuck? Like, you're the same dudes that expected Canelo to pay Caleb Plant $10 million.
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to hear that, if this guy decides he wants to fight at 135 one more time and squeeze his body down, I don't want to hear anything about rehydration clauses, none of that stuff.
If you want to make a boss move, bro, let me tell you what they could do. Like, this will be a boss move by Tank, okay? This will be a boss move, right? Right now, I don't believe Regis has signed with anybody, and he's a world champion at 140.
Mm-hmm.
You give Regis a call and offer him to fight, and you're the face of boxing. Offer him the millions like a face of boxing does. Oh, Regis will sign so fast.
Uh-huh.
Regis will, like, I'm telling you, he will fight you 140. You're willing to fight Raleigh at 140, brother? You're willing to fight Barrios at 140? Fight Regis. Regis is not as big as Barrios. He's not. Regis is not as big as a Raleigh, I don't think, even. Regis is not that big of a 140-pounder. You can make that fight, and it will be for a legitimate world title. He's not going to do it, but if he were to do that, and I want to hear, why would you bring that up? Because he's the face of boxing. He's got to do face of boxing shit. Right? Like, what do you mean? Like, the standard has changed now. You know what? I'm going to do what y'all do to faces of boxing. You know what? I'm just gonna say he's scared. Oh, he's scared of Regis. He doesn't want to fight. Oh, he's not gonna. He won't fight Regis. He won't do it. He's scared. He's not gonna do it. We all know he won't fight him. You know what I mean? That's what Albertine does with Canelo. Oh, Canelo, he ain't gonna fight Benavidez. It's a fight he doesn't want. You know. Okay, fine. He doesn't want Regis. He doesn't want a piece of Regis. But let me tell you right now, Calix, if you were to fight Regis, I would love that fight.
And wouldn't you say that's similar to Canelo moving up to 175 to fight Bivol? I mean, it's a similar type move, you know?
But I don't. But no, I don't want to hear. Oh, but nobody knows who Regis is, and he don't even sell out in his own hometown. Like all true, by the way. But which is kind of sad. But you're the face. You make up for, just like people expect Canelo to make up for everything. Oh, but Canelo's so big, and here's another thing that I know is going to happen. People use fighters' demeanors, and then they use it against them. Like they use it to like this is what they do with Canelo. Oh, but Canelo is not that type of guy. Canelo's willing to cross the street. Canelo's willing. He's showing me that he's willing to do those things. So he should do those things moving forward because that's what he's willing to do, right? Okay. But since Tank isn't willing, no one expects him to do it. No one demands that he does things because he's not willing to do it, right? That's what's going on right now. So all I'm saying is two things are true in life. One, right, and I want everybody to listen to me very carefully. With great power comes great responsibility, right? And two, Liza doesn't like short guys. Because, and the reason I say that is because she has this disdain for Pitbull Cruz, right? And why don't you like Pitbull Cruz? I just look at him and I just, like, I'm like, what do you mean? You just look at him and, I don't know. I'm just saying. She's like, she has a height requirement. She's going to be a fan. Just like roller coasters. You know what I mean? He doesn't quite, he falls short of the height requirement. You know what I mean? Like guys, man.
Look, this comment here, he's a face of boxing without it, and that's true, right? And first of all, I'm not expecting Tank to fight Regis. I don't need that. That's not my requirement. My requirement is that he fights. We're just putting that out as an example. My requirement is he fights one of the top guys at 135. And since he is that guy now, since he can sit back and demand, since he can toss money around because the face of boxing can do that, and particularly since Devin Haney's about to be a free agent, these are makeable fights. I don't want to hear that they're not. And on top of that, I don't have an issue like sometimes the face of boxing doesn't have belts, right? But it has to be the exception. It can't be the rule. It can't be the rule, right? Is like
They're
AJ
still aiming for the belts, though. You know what I mean?
doesn't have a belt right now, but the issue is we know he wants one. We know he wants to fight for the belts. He would love to be undisputed. He's not capable of it, but he shot for it. He shot his shot, fell short, and I never expect him to be undisputed. But the other issue I have with this is it goes back to packaging, right? You can't falsely package things. You can't like if I open up a package and it's not what was marketed to me, it's not what's on the package on the inside, I'm gonna be frustrated. And if you're gonna market this guy as the face of boxing, I expect a fighter who's gonna behave like the face of boxing. I expect the fighter who is gonna get 40 million per fight deals, and in doing so, he can wheel and deal. He can fight whoever he wants at that point. He can make anything fit. He can do cross promotion fights. He can, if a fighter's a free agent, the fighter is going to come to the table and they can give him whatever he wants as the B side because that guy wants to fight the face of boxing. So that's what I expect going forward. I don't expect the dude who becomes the face of boxing off of one fight to go back to type, to go back to Mario Barrios, Raul Romero,
100%. Look, if you understand,
I expect that dude to go on a run now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like now, since you're the face of boxing, like 250,000 pay-per-view buys doesn't cut it anymore. Like that's a bad look now. That's like a failure now, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. You're the face of boxing now. You can't be doing sub 200,000 buys anymore. Like you're in a different stratosphere now, right? Now we're holding you to a higher standard, which comes with higher expectations of what you got to pay your opponents. It comes with higher expectations of the type of opponent you need to fight. It comes with the higher amount of scrutiny, depending on the opponent you pick. It comes with it all. It
Mm-hmm.
comes with all of it. A higher ceiling now. So I'm off. You know what? Let's embrace it. Let's give him. It's like I feel like Saturday was the interview, and we need to decide if we want to hire him as a new face of boxing. You know what I mean? And they're selling me this bill of goods, right? And it sounds good. And now when I posted the job requirement for face of boxing, it's clear. Like I'm comparing you to the previous face. Opponents make millions. You got to do like really good gates consistently, right? You got to do like you got to be trending #1 social media all the time when you fight. You got to just everything, all that comes with it. Tank fills some of those, but he's fell short, of most of those, right? But now moving forward, you got to fulfill those requirements as the face of boxing.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? I'm going to give you the job, Tank. That's what I'm going to do, right? But you know what I'm expecting you to do, Tank? I need you to fight the winner, Loma versus Haney. I don't want to hear that they're asking for too much money. I don't want to hear, but they're over there on the other side of the street. I don't want to hear anything. You're the face. You have the power to make these fights happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you do. Like that's the expectation. You want me to fire the current face of boxing and kick him out and hire you? Like, think about that. It's like if you had a CEO, Calix, right? Let's say Canelo's the CEO of your company, and your company's doing great, right? It's selling out like ATT Stadium with a UK fighter during a pandemic, where UK people couldn't travel. By the way, over here, right? It's doing like nearly 20 million at the gate for a planned fight. It's doing like up there again. It's doing like 11 million at the gate for at a sold out stadium during the pandemic with Billy Joe Saunders. It's doing like he's bringing in like all this revenue, and he's bringing in Hennessy as a sponsorship, and look at all the sponsorship he has that he brings as a CEO that he brings to your company, right? Just think about it. And then like the opponents get paid, 6 to 10 million figures. Like everyone's happy. He's willing to go to the other side of the street to make an undisputed fight, come back. He's still open to go anywhere because he's the face. That's who we have right now. That's the face.
Yeah.
But since he's not fighting Benavidez right now, the moment we want, y'all want to fire him as a CEO and hire Tank Davis, right?
Good luck.
Okay, that's what you guys are doing. Oh, but he did 20 million at this gate. Well, guess what? All right, watch this, guys. Watch this. Triple G Canelo did 23 million at the gate. Like he's already done that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Canelo's already doing the things at the gate that Tank Davis getting all his credit for doing.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying is, you want to fire Canelo as a face of boxing. Okay, cool. So that means you're going to put less pressure on Canelo now. He's no longer the face, right?
Right.
And you're going to put all the pressure on Tank Davis. The whole sport falls on his shoulders now, right? You're the captain of the ship. Okay. You need to fight Devin Haney if he wins that fight. You need to fight Lomachenko if he wins that fight. I need people to demand that he fight Shakur, and I don't want to hear excuses. Don't make excuses for him. Push him to make those fights happen. That's what you need to do. And just like I keep hearing that, this is what I've been told. But D-Style, you see, when you and Calix are making arguments as to why it's okay for Canelo to fight Bivol and maybe he could fight Benavidez next year, and you're bringing up the whole DAZN thing, it sounds like you're protecting Canelo. You sound like a fanboy, D-Style. That's what you do. You sound like a fanboy when you do that, D-Style. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let me tell you something. Just like you guys keep saying, the face of boxing, the A side gets blamed for everything. Unfair or fair, it doesn't matter. Okay. So make the fight happen with Shakur, make the fight happen with Haney, make the fight happen with Loma, make the fights happen. If you go to 140, guess what? Now I'm expecting you to fight Taylor. I'm expecting you to fight Teofimo if he beats Taylor. Okay, I'm expecting you to fight Prograde. That's the type of level of opposition I'm expecting you to fight. Okay, I'm expecting you to fight the Puerto Rican cat. I forget his name, but I'm expecting you to fight him. All right, guys that can punch too, by the way. That's who I'm expecting you to fight because you're the face. And if it doesn't happen, guess what? I'm going to use the same standard that other people use with Canelo. Okay, cool. I'm going to use your standard, not my standards. Well, the A side gets blamed for everything. The face gets blamed. We will blame Tank Davis. He will be the ducker, and it will be his fault. Because heaviest is the head that wears the crown. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Okay? There's a Metallica song. Where's your crown, King Nothing? Right? Go listen to that song. Right? I love the lyrics. All right? Be careful what you wish. You just might get it. All right? And I'm telling you right now, you want it to be the face of boxing? I wish, like if it was Christmas time, it would be a perfect time to do a Christmas Carol, Calix. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of these like ungrateful boxing fans need a visit from the ghost of Christmas past, so they could see all the shit Canelo's done for the sport. So they could see like all the mountains he's moved as the face of boxing, so they could appreciate him a little bit. You know, because my God, the level of they want to fire this dude as the face, which you can't even do, by the way. But whatever, they want to fire him as the face. They want to hire Tank Davis, and they don't realize in the ghost of Christmas future. You know what I see? The Ghost of Christmas Future, he's got a Haney and he's got Loma and Shakur and Prograis. And he's like, we're here, Tank. Are you ready to be the face of boxing? Like, that's what's going to happen. You know what? You're hired. You're hired as the face of boxing. Make these fights happen.
Like you said, I'll even go along with it if I get the fights that I want. Like if it gets me the Haney fight, if it gives me a Lomachenko fight, if it gives me a Shakur fight, whatever, take it, whatever, like whatever, take it. But
I'm up for it.
I don't trust it. And this is the frustrating part about this is you have a dude who is ultra talented, and you had a dude who was the face of a great event on Saturday. And I just expect them to go right back to what they were doing before because you can't disappear at this point, right? You can't go away and start fighting once per year. Like you're the face, you're trusted to be around. You're trusted to fight the guys. You're trusted to care about stuff that matters, like real belts. Undisputed. Undisputed is one fight away. You have one dude. That's a beautiful thing about this. You have one dude in that weight class with everything. So you're one fight away, and that one dude who has it right now is going to be a free agent next month. 25 days from now, he's going to be a free agent. That's the beautiful thing about this. It's all on a platter for you. And it's not like Haney is some unbeatable force, right? We both talked about this, right? I can see Haney outboxing Tank for a while, but I can see Tank knocking Haney out as well.
I'll say right now, he knocks Haney out.
That's a winnable super fight, like a legit super fight, undisputed. That's everything that's right about boxing. This the confusing part about it for me is I understand why the power brokers around Tank Davis would do this, right? I would understand why they would bring up Isaac Cruz and Raleigh Romero rematches instead of the guys over there, right? With meaningful things in the weight class. But what I don't understand is when my fellow boxing fans can't look at this landscape currently and say, you have a guy with all the belts. If he beats Lomachenko, he's a free agent. And oh, by the way, I don't have to do a rehydration clause because this guy is struggling. We've seen it for 4 fights now. This guy gets on the scale and he looks like a skeleton, bone dry, making 135. Just make him go down to 135 again and put all his belts on the line, and you're draining him right there. This is winnable for him.
Very winnable.
Imagine a fight Where this fight that happened last Saturday, it's two big names, but there was nothing meaningful on the line as far as hardware, right? Imagine doing the same thing, except everything is on the
And
line.
here's another thing, Calix. Hey, again, you're the face of boxing. Okay, like this is the standard that I didn't call him face of boxing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all call him face of boxing. Okay, cool. Guess what? Just like I heard people saying, and I actually agree with this. Like yeah, like a plant should negotiate. He should try to get as much money as possible. And Benavides should negotiate the best offer for himself to fight 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I heard the argument. It's a really good argument. It was presented by Joe Habib. Joe Habib said, if Benavides has a better offer, if he's going to make more money fighting for PBC, he has every right to demand that the fight happens on PBC, not the zone, right? Okay, cool. If ESPN offers Devin Haney more money, if they're offering him more money, okay, and the same to Tank, then Tank should be willing, because that's what a face of boxing should be willing to do. We need to be even across the board. And I don't want to hear, no, but Canelo's willing to do it and Tank isn't. Wow, that's not a good reason. Like that's actually not a good argument for why he's the face of boxing. But what we need, like Devin Haney will have every right to negotiate his purse and make as much money as possible. I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, Devin Haney." I don't want to hear Leonard Albert come out. Oh, he's too expensive. He's asking for too much money. He's pricing himself out, because that's never worked ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Devin Haney wants $10 million. Can you believe these guys? What type of ridiculous? What do you mean? The face of boxing pays $10 million.
Yeah,
that's face of boxing shit, right? That's what you do. The face of boxing forks out $10 million to his B-side, right? So that's what you're expected to do now. We're not gonna what. So you're gonna take over as the face of boxing, but at the same time lower the standard? Why does it make any sense? Are you gonna break up with your girl, but go for but lower your standard for the new girl? Like what are you doing? No, like we're gonna keep at least the standards need to stay the same. Usually it surpasses the other guy, but this time we're gonna make an exception. All I'm saying, Calix, is this: they're going fishing with the whole "he's the face of boxing, he's the face." That's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for conversations to happen. They're looking to cloud chase off another fighter's name to elevate, right? And they want to do the whole fake it till you make it thing, right? You know, when Ali said, "Hey, I said I was the greatest even before I was," right? Like I spoke it into existence. That's what they're trying to do at this point, right? They're trying to say it so matter-of-factly that casuals and even boxing fans, they keep hearing the same thing. It's a tactic. You keep hearing the same thing over and over, and you kind of say to yourself, "Oh man, maybe he is," and or maybe he's close to that. Or I ain't falling for the bait, bro. You guys want to follow for the hook, all right? You want to bite the bait? Go ahead. You're gonna get fish hooked. It is what it is.
Yeah, and look. First of all, by the way, we're 9 likes away from 40. So make sure if you're in the chat,
hit that like button, guys.
Hit that X, hit the like button, bring the chat right back up. Let's get to 40 likes. But they're also doing what's called, they're not just cloud chasing, they're doing what's called testing the market, right? So they're going to put this out there. They obviously got the emails put out there company-wide, say face of boxing, face of boxing, face of boxing, face of boxing, and let's see what the market does.
We're going to call him face, bro. That's his pronoun.
Right. Let's see if they push back on it. If there's a lot of pushback on it, then, and if not, we continue to do it like we're doing with the 3-weight class thing, right? They just keep going with it. But you got to be aware with false marketing, because it can rub intelligent people the wrong way.
I hope more fighters come out and say, "No, I'm the face of boxing," and they give us a bunch of great fights. Mm-hmm. I'm all for it. I don't care if everybody calls themselves the face of boxing. Like, it's whatever to me. But you want to be the face, you got to do face. You know what I mean? That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You can't call yourself the king of Hollywood and still be doing like B-level productions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm expecting a blockbuster every time. You're going to call yourself the king of Hollywood, right? Yeah. Like, oh, I run Hollywood. I'm the face of Hollywood. But like, you can't be doing you can't have movies that don't make good money. Like, you know what I mean? You got to have blockbuster, record-breaking movies at the box office is what I'm expecting.
And there has to be a plan, right? this is once again the beautiful thing about Canelo is there's a clear and concise plan each year, right? And that's what we're saying. Like, it's acceptable to fight Frank Martin and then Devin Haney. Come out with that plan. Say we're gonna do Frank Martin this fight in May, and then we'll do Devin Haney in September or December, right? And then you make that happen because you're the face, and you can make that happen. We'll give you the in-house fight, and then we'll give you the big fight that you want. We'll fight at Isak Cruz and then a Shakur Stevenson. This stuff is acceptable. That's acceptable stuff. We're not expecting every single fight to be a home run, but you have to give us a plan towards the meaningful things. We'll give Frank Martin a shot because he looks talented. And then we beat that one, we win that one, and then we'll give you the Devin Haney fight. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. But
Like,
this isn't gonna, it just looks, I don't trust it from the stuff I've been hearing afterward and the track record before. I don't trust that they're gonna go on this run. When I start to hear stuff like I need to take a break, I need to take a rest, we'll talk to Al Heyman. Anytime I hear I need to talk to Al Heyman, I just think the worst. I'm sorry.
I just feel that the way I feel, bro. I could be wrong about this. Look, and it might be a perfect experiment here, social experiment, because I don't watch basketball as much as I used to. Right now, it's perceived that if somebody were to ask me who's the face of the NBA, I would actually say LeBron. That's me right now. I feel like he's still the guy that they're comparing to MJ at the moment. He's still the one that's talked about the most. At least am I correct in that assessment, or somebody else the face of the NBA? Right now.
I'd say LeBron is the face as long as he's active, but I mean you can argue other guys, Giannis, but I would still say LeBron's the face probably.
So I just feel like sometimes
Kevin Durant. I mean,
you know who the face is not by who people say the face is.
Mm-hmm.
You know who the face is by the way people talk about that said fighter and the expectations they have for the fighter, right? So all I ask is that if you want to call him the face of boxing, then you need to start having face of boxing expectations.
Yeah.
All right. And if you're not going to do that, then you're just wasting our time. So you're saying the face of boxing just goes back to B-level production movies.
I don't remember the face of basketball ever not winning a title, right? Even when LeBron was coming up, it was still,
I don't remember the face of boxing.
Kobe was still viewed as the face of the NBA before LeBron won that championship with the Heat. So I feel like that's one of the requirements in sports, right? Is, you know, if you want to be that dude, you gotta win that title.
Look,
and I'm not saying you can't be great. I'm not saying you can't be a marketable, popular guy because Charles Barkley never won a title, right? I mean, Karl Malone never won a title. Dan Marino never won a title. Jim Kelly, those guys had great careers, legends, but I feel like to be the face, you got to be that dude who wins the title, the championship. 100%. And I don't think you can be maneuvering yourself around lightweight as the face if you don't have anything meaningful at lightweight. This is the issue that people have when they don't see Tank Davis in the top 10 pound for pound, and you just tell them, like, can you be top 10 pound for pound when you're not top 2 in your weight class? Can you? And can you be top 2 in your weight class if you're signaling that you don't care about the belts? You're signaling you don't care about being the number one guy.
Let's just talk about who we beat, though. But let's just be honest for a moment. If, for example, people want to criticize Canelo for fighting Bivol, but who would favor Benavidez to beat Bivol? Like, what do you think the odds would have that fight?
It would be pretty. Right now, Bivol would probably be.
Bivol would probably be the favorite, and if he's not the favorite, it would be very close. Like, it would be. I'm talking really close, right? My point is, but this is my point. Everybody wants to praise Tank for beating Ryan. Now, I praise them too. Cool. Even though there's some asterisks to that, I'm still praising them, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
We both, by the way, we've both been complimentary of his.
Yeah. But here's my point. But that was before he was now he's the face of boxing.
Right. Different standard.
So there's a different standard. Now here's the thing. Who would favor chat? I'm going to ask the chat a question. Put a 1 in the chat if you would favor Ryan Garcia to beat Vasil Lomachenko in a fight at 135.
Mm.
Give me a 1 or a catch weight at 136. Same requirements. Rehydration clause, catch weight, right? Tell me, press a 1 if you would favor Ryan to win. Give me a 2 if you think Lomachenko wins, right? Give me a 1 if you okay. Give me a 1. And just put them in the chat. Give me a 1. Press a 1 in the chat if you would favor, all right, Ryan to beat Devin Haney at lightweight. Give me a 2. Press the 2 again if you would favor Devin Haney to win. Right? Just don't be shy. Give me the 1s. Give me the 2s. Give me a 1 if you would favor Ryan Garcia to beat Regis Prograis at 140. Oh. Give me a 2 if you would favor Regis Prograis. Has there been? I've mentioned 3 fights. Any ones? Yes, right now. Give me a 1 if you would favor Ryan Garcia to beat Josh Taylor at 140. Give me a 2 if you would favor Josh Taylor to beat him. 1 and 2, just keep them coming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep them coming. I just want. Is there a 1 yet? Oh, we got a 1, ladies and gentlemen. We finally got a 1. All right, I could keep going. By the way, okay. Here's a tough one. This one's actually tough, and you may want to think about this one. At 140, give me a 1 if you would favor Ryan Garcia to beat Jose Ramirez. Give me a 2 if you would favor Garcia to beat Jose Ramirez.
Gotta be honest. I'm still going 2.
But it's debatable, right?
And I gotta be honest, I go with the 2 for Teofimo Lopez too. And JC says he's doing 69.
I don't know what that means, que se van a ver a los dos. I know that's what he means, but nonetheless.
And look, Ryan will, you know, the beautiful thing about Ryan, he's a marketable guy. So, and
that's what he beat, bro. You want to criticize Bivol, right? How many dudes would you favor at 175 or even 168 to beat Bivol? How many dudes? Like maybe Beterbiev, maybe. And I would say, I think that's split down the middle. But that's who you want to criticize Canelo for fighting, right? But Tank beats a dude that you take the top 5 at lightweight or 140, most people would favor the other dude. That's 10 guys we would favor, bro.
The inconvenient truth is Ryan's not really. Bad left hook had him at number 8 at 140 coming into this fight. I don't understand Ring's rating sometimes because Ring had him as the number 5 contender coming into this fight at lightweight when he's not at lightweight. The tough thing about Ryan is he's the perfect chameleon because he's been fighting at 140 against 135 pounders. So he hasn't been fighting at 135. You can't rank him at 135, and you can't really rank him, in my opinion, at 140 because he hasn't fought a 140 pounder yet. So that's the tough thing about Ryan, right?
I mean, look, bro, there's so many names I could bring up, and I'm telling you, Ryan might get some 1s, right? And I'm not going to put everybody through it again. There's too many 2s, right? A sea of 2s. It's crazy.
I picked Matias against them. I mean,
like Matias. I would favor Matias. And there's some people are going to put 2, but I'm guaranteeing you most are going to put 2 other than 1 favoring Ryan. Like the reality is, yes, it's a big win because I'm comparing it to the other dudes that Tank's been fighting. I'm comparing Tank to Tank with his level of opposition. I'm not comparing it to the whole pool of talent that's actually out there, bro.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So look, I'll do one more. I'll do just one more. I think this one's like debatable. What's the name of the dude that trains under Crawford at 135? The prospect?
Keyshawn Davis?
Yeah, Keyshawn Davis.
I pick Ryan on that fight.
If they were to fight, well, think about it. I wouldn't. If Keyshawn Davis fought Ryan at 135 with the same stipulations that the Tank had, right? 136 rehydration clause, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a 1 if you favor Ryan. Give me a 2 if you favor Keyshawn Davis in that fight. I'm very curious to know what people think. Maybe this is where the buck stopped. Maybe we're okay. These I won.
Mhm.
Maybe. You know what I mean? But I think people are going to think about it. You're going to think about it because he's a good counterpuncher, and I think he would counter the shit out of this dude just going hook happy.
Frank
You know?
Martin's an interesting one too because Frank Martin. I got to be honest. I view Frank Martin higher than Keyshawn Davis. That's a tougher battle.
All right,
You
people
get
stop
more
right there.
ones now,
People are
so
like
I think
one.
that's where we're at with Ryan. Is I think he's the best out of that second crop of guys. And more interesting one is Ryan Garcia versus Isak Cruz. But Isak Cruz, we got to be honest,
Who's your favorite?
he messed up that fight.
Who's your
Ryan,
favorite though? And I want to chat one for Ryan, two for Cruz in the chat right now. But who do you got, Alex?
I'll go one. I'll go Ryan Garcia. You know what? I look at the actions of that fight because I can't give Isak Cruz a mythical matchup win over Ryan Garcia when he turned down the Ryan Garcia fight. When he was asked about Ryan Garcia in a post-fight interview, he said, Ryan Garcia, I'm past that. I'm past that. I don't know. I don't know. Recency bias wrecking this survey. And perhaps Nando's right. And that's a good pivot into the Ryan Garcia conversation is I think this is the issue, Nando, with Ryan Garcia right now is when we look at Tank and Floyd have had these unbelievable public blow-ups when it comes to each other, right? They'll have war of words with each other on Twitter and Instagram, all this stuff. But when it comes to fight time, that whole universe over there, the Tank Davis universe, Tank, Floyd, Leonard, Al, Steven, etc.
100%.
The training staff, they're in unison. They're locked in when it comes to fight. Just when we thought Floyd was gone, guess what? Leonard Ellerbe pops up with the gray beard on fight week, sitting right next to Tank. Tank shows up with 27 chains right there with Tank, like Fat Joe at Rucker Park being the coach. And they move in unison. It's one beautiful family when they get to where it's fight time. The issue with Ryan, it seems, is the closer we got to the fight, the more rumblings I started to hear in the back channels that Joe Goosen doesn't have his ear. He's not training with Joe Goosen on non-sparring days in camp. You just can't have that. So when you have two different camps now, when you have Reynoso's camp, Joe Goosen's camp, and it seems like Ryan wasn't coachable in either camp. And on top of that, you have moles in the camp, rats in the camp. And on top of that, when it's the post-fight press conference and Oscar's not there, Bernard's not there, Goosen's not there, fellas, something's going on there.
Yeah,
and
like the thing is,
Ryan's
that's why you need the head of the ship.
Ryan's the opposite of what we just talked about with Tank, right? Is instead of unison and kumbaya when it comes to fight team, we're all going to come together. We all know it's a team. It's not just fighters fighting. It's a team sport at the end of the day because you have a team around you, and you can have a less talented team beat the crap out of a more talented team because of chemistry. And the chemistry seems to be way off with Ryan Garcia's camp. It just seems to be in disarray. So
this is why you need a head of the ship. Like
the reason that together.
The reason you need a head of the ship, the reason you have a trainer being charged of the camp, and then you have a second, like there needs to be some type of chain of command and everything in life. Okay, the fighter needs to be focused on his game plan, his execution, his training, what he's eating, and that's what a fighter needs to be focused on. A fighter cannot be sparring, training, and then especially if he's making up his own orders in training camp, right? Mm-hmm. And then at the same time be watching for moles in the camp and watching for who's acting suspicious and who's like, why is that guy over there like filming the fight in the middle of me sparring, and why is that dude over here like acting kind of weird, and I'm whatever it is, like that's why you need a head of the camp watching over this stuff, right? And let me tell you something, just like in baseball, you got to protect your signs and stuff like that, and like in football, you got to protect the plays that you have, and in boxing, you have to protect your game plan. You have to protect what your if your opponent knows what you're going to do, that is such a big advantage, right? At the end of the day. And I feel like not only did he was Joe Goosen not the head of the ship to be able to watch everything that's going on, right? He also was not in charge of the game plan, right? It's almost like Ryan was his own boss, right? And no offense to Ryan, like if you were like if it came out like Floyd Mayweather, who was really his own boss, he didn't really follow instructions. Okay, that's one thing. You know what
Canelo,
I mean?
same thing. Yeah.
The same with Canelo, but even Canelo doesn't do that. He follows. Canelo allows Eddie Reynoso to run the camp. Okay, he trusts. He has trust for Eddie, right? He trusts that Eddie scouts and gets the right sparring partners. He trusts that while Canelo's sparring, he's not looking around to see who's filming, and he's not looking around as he's thinking. Like he's got dudes watching that already, right? And I got another news for you. Like I don't know how many people were in that camp. I don't know like how they couldn't figure out who the mole was. I mean, if you had somebody in charge, they would have weeded that out, in my opinion. And I just think when Goosen came out and said, "Oh, Ryan does his own thing," I kind of have to like work around it. That is terrible. Like that tells me that Goosen was just collecting his check. That's what that
Yeah,
tells me.
and look, people know how we feel. We're resume guys, so we don't throw guys away after a loss. So Ryan losing the Tank, that's not the end of the world. But what I'm saying is, it's still fair to judge guys and criticize performances and criticize what's going on in the camp. So when you ask me, like if you asked me last week this stuff, like, but when I start hearing these rumblings, you got to be coachable, right? Like coachability is a big factor. It's a big factor. So if the chemistry is way off, and the chemistry was off with the guys you were dealing with before you moved to this camp, it's like we talking about like the girl, right? The beautiful 30-year-old woman who wants to be married and she's not married. And at some point she has to look in the mirror and say, maybe it's me because I'm beautiful. I got a career. Guys are jumping off, I should be married at this point. I should have the ring on the finger. And I feel like Ryan is that girl without the ring on her finger at 30 years old
Saying
because
she doesn't need the ring, right? Rings aren't important.
yeah,
Like
but the thing is, the talent is there. We see the left hook. It just needs to be brought out of them, right? It needs to be sharpened, and we saw the differences, right? It goes back to what Tank said right after the fight when he's critiquing the first knockdown. He said he's simply off placement, and Tank just looked at it dismissively. He's like, it's like my trainer told me when we watch him fight, he gets off placement. His placement is off. And that's the difference. I think the big difference, because we see Tank and Ryan, we see two extremely talented fighters that can win big fights. But that's the difference right there is we see Tank fight and Tank can look at Ryan and say he's off of placement. That's not right.
the
And
whole game
Tank's
plan
punch placement is
was
there. He knows he has the power. He knows where to place it. He knows what to do with it. That's all technique. It's constantly working with Calvin Ford over,
also memory, yeah.
over, every day, over.
And I'll tell you, what's
Constant
annoying about
repetition.
what's
Constant
annoying
repetition.
about yeah, like look, what's annoying about Floyd being in the ring apron. I almost feel like whenever Tank's gonna ascend to a new level, right? Like he's gonna get another big win.
Mhm.
It's almost like he needs to be there so he could feel like, oh, the reason Tank won because I was there giving him instructions in the corner. Like, bro, Calvin
Right.
Ford's bit was in the whole training camp with them. Like it had nothing to do with you, Floyd. Whether you were there or not, Tank was going to do the exact same thing. It's not because you were there to give him instructions and all that other thing, right? All I know is this. Ryan Garcia was giving me like Chavez Jr. vibes, right? The only difference is that Joe Goosen worked around him, right? And Freddie Roach was not going to work around Chavez Jr., right? Like Freddie Roach called him out for not showing up on time, and maybe it wasn't to that degree. Don't get me wrong, but it was very similar to it. And Ryan needs to fix that. Like Ryan needs to allow a trainer to run the camp, have trust in that system, right? And he needs to be like, I don't know if he can't take critique. I don't know what it is, but dude, If you didn't believe you were found out before, believe it now. Because you have a
Once you
dude
get
that
to a
defeated
certain
you telling
level,
you.
once you get to a certain level, like you can be dismissive of that stuff, right? Is if you heard like late in Manny's career, you start to hear that, oh, he's working with Boo Boy more than he's working with Freddie Roach. But he's still Manny at that point, right? So
Right.
he can still figure out a way, navigate through that stuff. Floyd, Roger starts to have eye problems. He can't see anymore. And he's about to pass away. So Floyd starts to work with Floyd Sr. You say, it's going to be seamless because he's Floyd at that point, right? Ryan's 24. Ryan still has yet to win the big fight. So this stuff is more, it's sirens going off, right? It's how is he going to navigate this going forward if he doesn't have a camp? If there are moles in the camp that they don't figure out till after the fight, and then we're finding out he's only working with Joe Goosen like 30% of the camp. This stuff is alarming.
Something isn't right with that. Like, so something just sounds off with that. Like, I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
and maybe that was part of the deal. Like, yeah, I'll hire you, but I want to do, like, okay, cool. But shout out to Goose, and he got his bag, right? But all I'm going to say is this. Despite all that, despite him losing, and listen to the dude that beat you. If you don't want to listen to me, if you don't want to listen to the critics, listen to Tank when he tells you, "Oh yeah, totally. I knew I was going to do that," and because he's off balance after he throws a constant hook, and I knew I was going to be able to time that. Well, maybe that's a sign that you're fighting in a pattern that you need to fix, brother. Like the dude that beat you is telling you, there is no better coaching than someone literally showing you. You know what I mean?
You were off placement there.
Like as a chess player myself, I improved as a player when I got beat, and the person that beat me told me what they did. Oh, you know what? Because you did this wrong. Oh, you moved the queen over here, and you thought I was gonna like you were gonna get me on check, huh? Like, yeah. No, what I did is this and this, and I moved the rook over here, and then I set you up for the checkmate when I did that. Okay, well, you know what I got to do? I got to learn from that, so I don't make that mistake again. If I dismiss it, like, no, you got lucky. I wasn't feeling good. I had pancakes in the morning. I usually have waffles, and that's why I lost. Like, if I say that, like, if I make every excuse in the book, listen to the dude that beat you. Even Canelo says after the Mayweather loss, I learned from the loss. And you could actually look at film, side by side film, on Cato Plant trying some of the similar tactics that Floyd did against the ropes against Canelo. But Canelo was using his lead arm to control the head of Cato Plant, which he was not doing against Floyd, right? To offset some of the counters, right? He learned from it.
Yeah.
Right? Whether he could do it at Floyd or not, again, is a different story, but he still learned from the loss. Mancini learned from his loss to Arguello, right? B-Hop learned from his first professional loss. Robesi Ramirez learned from his first professional loss. Lomachenko, even he'll tell you, I learned a lot from that Salido fight. You know what I mean?
Cotto learned a lot from the Margarito loss. He's like, I need a real trainer. I need someone who is going to check padding. Right. It's just you learn from the losses,
So
but you have to be.
I'm all for like, oh, L's aren't losses; they're lessons. No. Like people need to learn how to own a fucking loss. Is what they need to do. You lost. There's no such thing. Oh, there's no winning in life. Only lessons. No. There's losing. It's about what you do after the fucking loss. So Ryan has an opportunity. He's still young. Okay. He's blessed with good speed, power, right? You know how many fighters would give to have that speed and power? You know what an Arturo Gatti would do to have that speed? Get the power, but not that speed. You know what a Mickey Ward would do to have that? You know how many fighters would kill to just have that speed alone? You're blessed with that. That's natural. Now go work on the fundamentals. Go work on your craft. You're young. You could have a 3-4 year plan and come back stronger than ever.
The loss is fine. Like, how many fighters retire undefeated? I mean, what do we got? Ward, Calzaghe, Mayweather. How many fighters retire undefeated? It's fine to take a loss. It's fine. It's fine. Eventually, if Tank fights the fights, he's going to get a loss somewhere. Yeah. It happens. It's fine. But I don't know if I see that humbleness to learn from the mistakes and say, you know what, I'm gonna work with Joe Goosen every day. You have to have that repetition, and it doesn't even have to be with a great coach. That's the thing. It's just finding that guy that you have chemistry with to give you that repetition and to show you where you were making the mistakes, and then trusting in that process, because you can tell Tank and Calvin Ford, they're attached at the hip. And Ford's not the greatest trainer in the world. He just works for Tank. It's fine. Like, it's a beautiful
It's
relationship
like
and it
Jack
works
Lowe with Pavlik, right?
with
It just
Pavlik.
works.
It just works.
Like, oh,
So
all he says is throw the jab and double the jab, but guess what? It worked.
psychologically, it's there. The chemistry is there. Don't break it up. Keep it together, and it's fine.
Yeah,
So
look,
it doesn't have to be the greatest trainer in the world. Just somebody you trust that can give you proper direction,
I think what I would have loved to
and
see.
someone who can keep moles out of camps. I mean,
I'm glad I mentioned Pavlik because I was thinking about this while I was, and a lot of guys aren't doing this when they fight shorter guys. I'm not understanding why. Like, we're going through a phase right now, Calix. I don't know if you noticed, where like people have even stopped. They're slowly stopped using the phrase the height advantage.
mhm.
You know, the arm length advantage. They're not using the term advantage anymore, right?
Disparity.
The reason they're not using it is because a lot of these tall guys are getting caught. They're fighting down to the level. By level, I mean not like, I mean like height. You know, like they're fighting small. Like it's like, have tall guys forgot how to fight short guys?
Looks
Like,
that
I don't
way.
know what the fuck's going on right now, bro. Go watch Kali Pavlik, what he would do to shorter opponents. Okay. Now, people can make fun of Jack Lowe. Oh, he just sit there with a jab, double jab. Sometimes guys they're so in sync that one or two words, the fighter understands, okay, when he says this, kind of like Dundee with Leonard, it's not just the phrase that he's saying. He's not just saying the jab. It's also the things they worked on how to react when you throw the jab. So, for example, Kali Pavlik used to throw the jab, right? From a distance, and if he missed it, he would put a blind spot on his opponent with a glove, right? And he would force the shorter guy to move out of the way, and he would be ready to throw a rocket down the pipe, right? He also threw him straight. And in this fight, I felt like, and no one has really done this, like no one has like tried doing that with Tank. No one has blinded him with the lead hand. Like, even when you land a jab, leave it out there. You know what I mean? Now, it's easier said than done, but Pavlik did it. Klitschko did it against shorter opponents. Lennox Lewis did it against shorter opponents. Vitaly did it against lower. Tyson Fury does it. Heavyweights is the only division where guys know how to fight shorter guys.
And
With the
another
exception
thing,
of AJ, by the way. AJ's the only tall guy at heavyweight doesn't know how to fight short guys.
yeah, and that's why I started to use the word disparity instead of advantage, because it almost seems like the height advantage is now a disadvantage how fighters are fighting, right? And on top of that, you need a trainer not only that can give you that proper direction, but psychologically. Remember Angelo Dundee? I remember watching him interview it, and he said Muhammad Ali had such a personality to where he wouldn't just listen to instruction. You had to almost bait him into taking your instruction. So he would say, you know what? Yeah, you're great at this, but you know, you're not one of the best jabbers in the world. So what would Muhammad Ali do as a result of that? He would become the best jabber in the world. He would work on his jab so much just because Angelo Dundee realized he had to push on his ego a little bit. Yeah, you're not one of the best jabbers. There are way better jabbers out there than you. Just him saying that, Muhammad Ali would listen to it and go out there and do it. But he understood Ali's personality in order to do that. The issue with hopping from trainer to trainer, camp to camp is, and not listening direction, not being coachable, is you can never have that type of relationship with somebody, because they're not going to be able to work with you long enough in order to understand what ticks you, right? What gets you to move on something. And I just found that interesting that even with Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
he would take instruction like that, and Angelo Dundee would know how to. Muhammad Ali would listen to that, and the next fight, all he was doing is jabbing, jab, 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 jab. Just
Whatever
to
it
show
took, like
Angelo
his
Dundee,
Hebrew.
I'm that dude with the jab.
He had a
Exactly.
psychology on him. Like he understood his fighter, right?
Hmm.
And the only way you could do that is with chemistry. How do you build chemistry? Well, you got to get to know your fighter, right? And that's true in anything. Coaches know what buttons to press with certain players and other sports, and they know how to they know how to do it without crossing the line, but just to get their player to perform, right? I think Belichick knew how to do that with Brady, quite frankly, right?
Hmm.
So, like it kind of is what it is. Now, I do want to. What's going on with what's going on with the Golden Boy, bro? Like they can't get the story straight. They can't. One moment, oh, it's because they had dinner reservations and they thought the fight was
Hmm.
going to be later, but they really had to go to this dinner. Like, what? You couldn't have dinner on Sunday, or what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, what dinner was this? Like who are you having dinner with? Like, this is stupid. But then that was so ridiculous. Hopkins comes out. Well, we were needed there. If I'm there, it takes away from Ryan and from Tank. And if Oscar's there, it makes it about Oscar, but it's over now. And we're not needed. And we're not there to steal the spotlight from the young blood. And it's their moment, right? And then, okay. And then the lawyer comes out. Oh, well, Hopkins was actually banned because they were accusing him of rubbing EPO cream on the back of Tank Davis, and he was banned from all events. He wasn't allowed in the ring. And okay, and then, but what about you, Oscar? Oh well, my security team told me, "Hey, boss, we got to get out of here. They're threatening your life. Threatening your life." Okay, like
I'll say this though, as Sante will say, I never believed the dinner reservation.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Ryan O'Hara came out and said that.
yeah, and I never fully. So I don't even want to say that Oscar is giving different stories, but with Bernard also. So I don't know if they're giving different stories. It's just I think you should be there for your fighter after the loss because of perceptions, everything, and you want to be able to project to other fighters that you're signing early on to where, if you lose, I'm going to be there. You win, I'm going to be there. You lose, I'm going to be there. And I think it matters, right? I think it matters that you at least show face in the ring. You don't necessarily have to be at the press conference either,
Yeah,
but
but even
Leonard's
even
there
De
at the press
La,
conference, Floyd's there at the press conference.
yeah,
Al's
but the
not video.
De La Hopkins stories don't corroborate.
Right.
Like one guy is saying, "Oh, we weren't there because we don't need to be there." And yes, we were there before the. That's what Hopkins said. We were there before the fight because we wanted to help promote the fight, but now the fight's over. Hopkins even said if it was close or controversial or a draw, we
Mhm.
would have been there because then there's something to talk about. Now there's nothing for us to say. It's
Mhm.
Ryan's moment, right? That's what Hopkins is saying.
I
And the
think they
lawyer saying
didn't.
he was banned, and maybe that's true, but why didn't Hopkins just say that? And then, but that doesn't excuse the lawyer. Then the lawyer saying he had death threats all week. Well, you picked a good time to leave, Oscar. You left like right when your fighter lost. Because let me tell you, death threats all week or not, if Ryan would have
Mhm.
won by knockout, the lawyer ass would have been right there in the podium, brother.
And you got security. I mean, who's going to kill him at a post fight press conference?
You're not allowed to have weapons or knives. Like you're safer in the arena than when you leave the arena.
That was
You
just
live in the
like,
United States of America where people are allowed to carry. Like you're in the one spot where people can't carry guns.
dude, who's gonna kill him at the post fight press conference? It was just funny to hear him say
He
that.
was, yeah, stupid.
But look, the funniest thing I've seen so far, like I thought the egg weights thing was crazy, and his own trainer was poisoning him, but dudes were claiming that Bernard Hopkins was trying to rub EPO on Tank Davis at the weigh.
EPO is injected, by the way, and I believe HGH is the one that's ruptured. That's number one. But like this idea, right? Think about it. So, what are you guys saying that they had an advantage in the fight because he hooked them up with some EPO? Like, does anybody really believe that? First of all, you don't think Tank would have felt so? Like, if somebody gets Vaseline or cream and they rub it on your back, you're
uh,
gonna feel it, bro. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna like why did he go? What the fuck you put on me, bro? He didn't say that. Like you're telling me he didn't feel like You're telling me Tank didn't feel, and bro, he didn't even rub him, bro. He kind of like, it was like the tips of his fingers. But like this idea, I just don't understand. Like, okay,
What is with these
why did
dudes?
they say, oh my God, well, why did you do that? And what the
These
fuck
dudes
is
are
going
saying
on, bro?
EPO cream in a way, and like, who would be that absurd? Like, really? I thought that his
Here's the
own
worst
trainer.
part. Hopkins goes like this to the dude in the middle of them against his suit, and then he touches Frank. So wouldn't there be like some like cream or something? Wouldn't there be some cream or something on the dude's black suit? Like,
I
wouldn't there be
thought
something? What if Ford have been like, what? Wait, yo, what the fuck you put on Tank, bro? What the fuck is this? Yo, he's got some like Vaseline, some shit on here, bro. What's just this cream? Nothing. He's so dry. Let me tell you something, Cal. Just for people to realize this. Guys are very dry at the weigh-ins because they're dehydrated, right? So if you put cream on the motherfucker, that shit's gonna stand out, bro. Okay?
we
Like I'm
shouldn't
telling you,
even
you're
have to
gonna see.
explain. We shouldn't even have to explain that, though.
I'm kind of disheartened that when we started talking about cream. Okay, now we're at 50 viewers. Like this is crazy. Like nobody wanted to join us when we were talking boxing. We started talking about cream. Oh, I gotta watch. I gotta see what the fuck they talking about. The B hop cream, like the
Why?
EPO cream.
How is it that absurd? How are these dudes now so absurd with the narratives in the tinfoil hat stuff to where they're at EPO cream at weigh-ins? It's like, dude, I thought the egg weights, and I thought particularly the poison in your own trainer, which I still don't understand. They still haven't properly explained that. Why would your own trainer poison
Good
you?
luck.
I don't understand that one. How do you put egg weights in your gloves and not break your hands? I don't get that. But why would a promoter be so bold as to put EPO cream or testosterone cream on his
And
hands
we're talking
and
about
try to touch you?
cream, bro. Like cream. Like just try it. Like if you guys don't know, just try it. Put some cream on your hand, right? Put some cream on your hand, right? Just wait for your brother, sibling, or your spouse, somebody. Just wait for them to not have a shirt on. Go behind them and rub the cream and see if they don't notice. Just give it a shot. If they don't if they don't notice, see these stuff, they didn't notice. They didn't know. Like I put that cream there, no fucking clue. I put that cream. You're telling me he didn't know there was cream on his back? He said, "Hey, don't touch me." Don't touch me. Like, that's what he did, right? He didn't say, yo, what the fuck's in my, like, he didn't say, what the fuck you just put on me?
How do you not notice if somebody puts how would Bernard Hopkins pull this up? I'm obviously I mean they're not going to answer this, but how would you not know if
Could you
somebody
imagine
rubbed
getting
cream on
caught
you?
with the cream? Like, hey, what's that? Yo, what the fuck you got, bro? Are you kidding me right now?
Like Bernard, imagine Bernard, he would never live that down ever. I mean, he would never be able to promote again. He would be banned. If you get
Go to
caught with
Walmart, right? Go to
testosterone
Walmart,
cream on your hands, fellas, at
bro.
a weigh-in.
Go to the
At a
beach.
weigh-in.
If you live in Florida or something, if you live in Miami, go to the beach. Walk behind somebody, like walk behind one of those girls in a bikini, and just rub some Vaseline like in their lower back, and see if they don't notice.
Rub some sunscreen. Try to do that. Rub some
Yeah, like
sunscreen
like,
on
like
somebody at the beach
they're
that you
not just
don't
gonna say,
know.
"Hey, don't touch you." They're gonna say, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, and then Calvin Ford, they put it. Oh, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to do them dirty. Like, and then these other think about how paranoid you got to be thinking that way, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, oh, they're trying to put EPO on them. like it reminds you of like when. Remember this? You remember this? Andy Lee, he hands Fear the water bottle, or Fear's like, where'd you get this from? I don't want it. Right? And then like, video after video, oh, he has a guilty conscience. Otherwise, why is he thinking that way? Why is Calvin Ford thinking that way? Well, why is he thinking about EPO? Because somebody like rubbed a dry hand on his back because there was nothing on his back. I don't know. Is EPO like this invisible thing?
It doesn't
What
have
is
any
it
kind of
exactly?
odor to it. Nothing, like not liquidy at all. Not creamy at all. I don't know. Like
Bro,
people,
get the
dudes will take
driest
these
cream you can find and rub it on somebody, bro. They're gonna feel it,
dude,
bro.
and it's making its rounds on Friday or amongst the LDBC channels, and people are sending to me. I'm like, this can't be right. This can't be right. Like this was Happy Days. Happy Days. It started. The ratings go down. So what happened? Fonzie had to jump a shark at the beach
And
on his
they jump right
motorcycle.
on it, like
That's
they go
what
like
they did.
this.
Like the ratings weren't good enough on your channels to where you could just let this one go. Just
Do you
let it
remember
go.
when?
Just
Do
say
you remember when
Bernard doesn't
Floyd?
belong on the other side of the stage. You don't have to say dude's got EPO cream.
Do you remember when Floyd? Remember when Floyd and Canelo were posing with a belt, but Canelo was so dehydrated, right, that he wanted to get the fuck out of it. He looked miserable, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Floyd's like, hey, like let's pose with the. He wanted him to pose with the belt, right, for the pictures. And Canelo was like ignoring him. Well, why was Floyd touching his arm? Like, well, why was Floyd like, hey, what were you doing, Floyd? Well, were you putting some stuff on Canelo? Like when you were like putting your like, well, what were you rubbing on Canelo's arm, Floyd? Well, what's up with that, Floyd? Like, and then like think about it, Dana White when he's in the middle, like breaking the dudes up, right? Right? What is he putting cream here and here? Is he like? Like I just try to like think about how stupid this is, bro. And then they're like, oh, if Tank Davis pops dirty, it's B-Hop's fault. So random, bro. Like I'm sorry, it's random. Like when Fury pushed Wilder, right? Bah! Why wasn't that a conspiracy then? Maybe he had EPO and maybe that's what weakened Wilder. Maybe he had like some like voodoo magic substance in his hand when he pushed Wilder. And when he pushed him back, and that's what weakened him. You know what I mean?
This is going to be a new precedent, and I'm going to use it every time. Every time in a weigh-in, hey, that dude could have EPO on his hand. That promoter, that manager could have EPO on his hand, and we can't have that. Dudes just can't get close to each other at weigh-ins anymore. And everybody around those guys, they need to wear gloves. They all need to wear gloves.
But what you could put shit on gloves though.
It's true. This is true.
This is like the dumbest shit I ever heard, bro. Like this idea that you could put EPO, like you could rub EPO. First of all.
So now Bernard,
here's the thing. I don't want to lose this. When did he put the BPO? Because cream starts to like your skin starts to absorb the cream, right? So like he could have had it that long, right? Does he have to walk around like with his palm open, or can he close his fist, right? And then like by the time he gets to like did he put it on like did he open the EPO, right? Did he open the EPO and like just put it in his head and just walk around? He just walked around with a head full of EPO cream. Like, and if somebody went up to B-Hop, right? Because it's his right hand, bro. So that's what people shake hands with. Hey, B-Hop, how you doing? When did he just ignore them and keep his head behind his back? What's up, bro? What's up, brother? Like, yo, why is B-Hop acting kind of weird?
Dapped them up. Imagine the poor people.
He dapped up the president of like Paramount Global and shit. Like, brother, what's this dude give me dap?
Imagine the poor people that shook hands with Bernard Hopkins.
What if the pores? Like, how long does it take the pores in your hand to absorb the EPO cream?
I don't know,
because I need to know like for how much time did he have to fulfill this mission of giving Tank EPO?
Imagine like the housewives that were at the press at the weigh-in, and like Bernard shaking hands with them, taking pictures, and then they go home like all of a sudden they're like super energetic. They start working out, getting super.
You know what? Maybe he did, bro. Because the moment he rubbed the cream, right? You see how Tank like he got this boost of energy and he wanted to fight, Bernard.
That's what it was.
Don't touch me, like like. I'm just like, what are you gonna do?
You saw the look in his eyes, like.
So maybe that's the moment the EPO went in the system.
The EPO, particularly the cream and not the injection, it kicks in right away. It's that explosive.
I want somebody to try it. Like somebody rub really quickly some EPO, whatever that means, that somebody's back, and then do a VADA test, and I want to see if they pop dirty. Like, do the test. I want to
Is
see.
there even?
Somebody
I'm
do
gonna
it.
look this up. Is there EPO cream? Does that exist?
I think there's HGH cream, but
Oh,
the thing is, here's the thing, and this is from what Joe Habib told me. There's no EPO cream, so but like the thing about the cream though, people need to realize this. That's what Mosley said he took, and that's what Bond said he took.
uh-huh.
Like, there's no, it's not true that that's what they took, from my understanding. It's just what they're willing to admit they took, so it doesn't sound that bad. Because putting out some cream sounds more innocent, right, than like an injection, or taking something through your mouth. It just sounds more. It sounds more innocent. You know what I mean? Like oh, I just thought it was a cream.
Uh-huh.
But like what? Like there's
Amir Khan
recovery
used it.
cream.
I think that's where they got it. Amir Khan used it as an excuse as to why he popped dirty. He shook hands with somebody. So
I
that's the real
mean,
thing. He used that
okay.
as an excuse.
So who did he shake hands with?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. None of this.
Who? I don't know, man. I just don't get it, bro. Like I have like it's not really cream, I guess. It's let me get it. I'll be right back.
Hazmat sparring sessions. Look, EPO cream, testosterone cream, whatever it is, this didn't happen. I shouldn't have to say this. Bernard Hopkins did not show up to a weigh-in with cream on his hand.
Plus, how stupid are they going to look if he's not going to take
Hopkins not
positive?
touch Ryan Garcia during the weigh-in at all? Like,
by the way, did they even have VADA testing for this fight?
I don't know.
So if they didn't, well, what are they worried about? Like, you know what I mean? The whole thing's stupid, bro. But here's the thing. So now this may start some funny jokes on the internet, but it is what it is. So I have this shit, right? So BioFreeze, cool the pain, right? I like this one because it doesn't smell. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that ugly ass smell. Like icy hot. I don't know. But this is what I have, right? So you're telling me, Bernard, like this, you're telling me this shit like this of EPO in the market that I could buy, right? I could just like, you know. So Bernard Hopkins, he put some shit in his hand, right? Bernard Hopkins, like, and he was just walking around like this. He was just walking around, right? Dapping people. He snuck in, right? He's like, and then he rubbed his shit on the back of Tank, and Tank didn't feel that. Tank didn't feel this shit, right? You're gonna tell me right now. Now I could feel this. It gives me like a, you know, when I'm whatever. I go. I have a workout. I lift some quick, light weights and stuff for a good 30 minutes. Right. If I start feeling like a little sore or something the next day, I'll put it on so I'm not sore in the morning or whatever. But you're telling me you didn't feel this shit? Right, like I'm just trying to understand, like, what type of cream or any substance can you put on that you're not gonna feel it, bro?
It's magic. That's why. It's magic.
And fuck you, JC.
Look. He's in Vegas, right? David Copperfield performs in Vegas. I think David Copperfield gave Bernard Hopkins some tips on how to do that magic. Maybe David Blaine. Like, David Blaine could do it. And I'm sure I don't know. He's not.
You know what I heard somebody say? I heard somebody say this. Oh, man, the new stuff. You guys don't understand. There's new stuff now that you don't even feel. Like, you could just put it on somebody. Just like, says who? You're just making shit up, bro. And you couldn't even feel it, right? Couldn't, like, think about all the other ways. Let's say there is a substance that you could like Khan, you could just shake their hand, right? Let's say that exists. It's hypothetically. Through that whole weekend, Bernard couldn't find one instant to just shake hands with Tank. Like, hey man, have a good fight, brother. All right. Like you're telling me he couldn't find one instant to do it, or think about it, he could have shook Ford's hand because he knows Ford's going to put hands on Tank, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
This is, I think this is officially, I think it's higher on the absurdity scale than your own. It's close. Your own trainer poison you. It's up there.
That one still takes the cake, but
yeah, this is a close second though.
At least in this one, it's the opposition trying to screw you over, right?
Yeah.
And the other one, it's like, okay, he's in your team, right? And he's trying to help out like the other team for like, because, and the reasons were stupid. Oh, because Brilliant was jealous of Wilder's popularity. Like, what? Why would Brilliant care if he gets the more money he makes, the more money he makes. Makes no sense. But like the dude, but what make that more absurd is that their main accusation was the egg weight in the glove, or no horsehair, or they took out the padding from the glove, whatever theory. They don't even agree on the theory, by the way. Some say, "Oh, that's stupid. There was no egg weight. He just didn't have any padding in the glove," or right. They have different theories, but the guy that was there watching is still in your camp, bro. Like, that's what made the whole thing stupid. Like, I was just like, what made it more absurd was that like JD's is still there. JD's nuts is still in your camp. Right? At least in this case, it's Bernard Hopkins trying to, because I heard everything. Oh, you see, the plan was to have Bernard do it because he would blend in on the Tank side. And they wouldn't notice him there. Like, why? Because he's black? They're not going to notice Bernard Hopkins? Like, the whole thing's absurd, bro. Like, he's going to blend in because he's black, right? And they're not going to know it's Bernard. And he's going to, like, get in there and just wipe the EPO. Like a Benedict Arnold and shit. Like a Judas. Let's go back there and betray Tank Davis. What's going to make the whole thing stupid is that I guarantee you nothing's going to come out that Tank's on anything. As soon as they announce, Tank passed every test with flying colors, right? What are you going to say? Well, but he tried to. He just didn't get to really wipe it down. I don't know what they're going to say, but the whole thing is absurd, bro.
I hope it keeps going. I hope it grows legs. But just to circle back to this before we wrap it up, Tank needs to, if he's indeed the face of boxing, he needs to behave like the face of boxing. If they want to give him that, agree with it, don't agree with it, whatever. There's no reason in the world we should not be calling for Tank Davis versus the Devin Haney-Lomachenko winner next. At worst, the Shakur Stevenson fight. At worst. Because if you're the dude now, you can move mountains and you can demand whatever fight you want, particularly when it comes to Devin Haney, because if Devin Haney beats Lomachenko in 25 days, he's a free agent. You can bring him to the table. And by the way, if Devin Haney starts acting crazy after that and saying, I don't want the Tank fight, we'll call out Devin Haney for ducking Tank. But Devin Haney said he wants the Tank fight. He'd love to fight that fight. He'd even stick around at 135 another time to fight that fight. So you have to fight the fights. And as boxing fans, we need to behave like boxing fans. We don't need to be doing the power broker's job for them and saying, well, this fight can't happen because of this. No. If Devin Haney beats Lomachenko in particular, and he has all of the belts, and he has the lineal Ring Magazine belt as well, and you're the face of boxing and that guy's a free agent, you fight that fight. Point blank, period. There is no other fight. You fight that fight. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
That's what I want to see, man. And I don't want to hear, Bill Haney try to rub some stuff on Tank. And like, this shit's stupid, bro. All right? I mean, I don't even know what to say about any of that. Like, and then this whole no one ever touches the fighter. That's not true. There's always a dude in the middle. Like, in other words, as a fighter, right? If you don't want anybody to touch you, then don't stop getting close to people and like getting in their face because the other fighter's gonna touch you. You know what I mean? And I want to know, by the way, what cream there's out there that you could put on and you don't even feel it. Like you just put it on and it moisturizes your skin, but you don't feel it though. Like, I want to know what cream that is. I want to know. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna start saying, "Oh, it's like the antler spray," and then that's what he rubbed on him. Like, why does it work that way? I'm just saying.
Unreal. Unreal. Officially my favorite theory. And subscribe to D Styles channel. And I'll be
Yeah, make
back
sure you guys
tomorrow.
subscribe, man. Look, I don't know if this happened to Calix too, but I look at my analytics and like, don't get me wrong, like I'm glad my subscribers are watching, but like over
YouTube.
90% of my viewers are
Mhm.
only subscribers, which tells me YouTube ain't sharing my shit, right?
YouTube's tripping.
So it is what it is. So subscribe, share, like the content, help us get to 50, man. We're like right there, 51. We're already there. So there we go. It helps out the content and everything. Shout out to everybody, man. Whether you agree, disagree, we welcome everybody. We're not those dudes that, oh, you disagree with me, you're blocked. Oh,
Yeah, we
I
ain't
don't like the
echo
way that guy
chamber.
talks. He's too much of a fanboy. I'm gonna block him. Like, well, we don't do that shit over here, right? Everyone
Mhm.
gets to speak their mind. Everyone gets to have an opinion. And if you believe that Hopkins rub some EPO, we're not gonna block you, bro. It's what you believe. It's all good.
I'm gonna go find some of this testosterone cream, HGH cream. I'm gonna get super swole
Man,
for
me
no
and Cal can be all buffed out. Like we could find that cream.
reason.
Like, so I can just rub some cream and then I'm a beast. Shit. Because that's how you guys think it works, right? You can just rub something on, and then you're gonna like perform like a beast in the ring because you rub some cream on. Like, you really believe that this dude Barry Bonds put some cream on, then he started hitting like home runs like crazy because of the cream, right?
Uh-huh.
And not his hand-eye coordination, not none of that. It was some cream that he put on that gave him this super boost of energy, right, and turned him into a beast, right? That's what you guys believe. Like, you believe that Shane Mosley put on some cream, and that's the only reason he beat Oscar the Lawyer, right? Like that's what you believe. Hey, it's cool. Because that's all Paulie had to do. Rub some cream on himself. He would start knocking dudes out left and right.
Mhm.
Okay? Or Pacquiao only beat Cotto because he had some cream. Like, okay, whatever you believe.
We out. Another good one in the books. See y'all tomorrow. Peace. God bless.
Peace.